at St. Peter, St. Paul today, and we are with Father Andrew, and he's the rector out here, and we're trying to figure out what we're going to do as far as naming our podcast. Do you have any ideas?
I don't, but I bet they do.
So we're reaching out. We want you to give us good comments or suggestions, what you would think that we would name the podcast. And then after that, we want you to give us ideas on what you would like to hear Father Andrew speak about every month. And we want to keep it around religion. We don't want to get too controversial or anything like that, right? Or...
I mean, I'm not afraid of a little controversy,
okay,
but we could mostly stay in our lane, or if there are hot topic issues they want to talk about, we really talk about anything, but really we want to have an opportunity to share a little bit about what Anglicanism is, what kind of things we believe, how we relate to the community. Those kind of things, I think, right?
Yeah. And then we're going to tell you about upcoming events, because that's part of our church, is getting out into the community and making sure we get more people in here. Because once you come to this church, you're not going to want to leave it. Yeah. I mean, this guy is the bomb.
Well, thank you. It's really about Jesus. He's better than I am.
Well, you got that going too. Yeah. So today we're going to break into a little bit about what Anglicanism is. That's a hard word to say. I hope you do a better job at
Anglicanism. Yeah, it's a lot. Some people call it angelicalism, or there's been a lot of butchering of the names. It actually comes from, I don't know if you know this or not, the word Anglo, English. That's where the Anglican faith comes from, is the islands of England. The British Isles. And so the name sort of derives from that, having to do with the English people. So shall we just dive in? What is an Anglican? Or
yeah, let's dive in. And then you can tell us if people are, and this is all the information about services and everything, if someone was thinking about joining the church, what would be the process to become an Anglican? So maybe we can start there and then go into that.
Yeah. So our hope with this podcast would be to have some engagement with all of you. So if you're interested, people can email me at fr.thebeau, Thebeau, at stp2.org. And I'm happy. I'd love to get together with people and talk more about that process. But really, I mean, it's sort of how you become an Anglican sort of is related to what we think an Anglican is. And that starts with baptism, becoming a follower of Jesus. Like, that's the baseline, is being part of the church, being part of Christ through our baptism. And that then we become part of the one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church. And I'll unpack that in a minute. But if you're not baptized, you're welcome to come and to come see us on a Sunday or the different events that we do, and sort of come and learn more about how to get involved and work towards baptism, which is to ultimately to give yourself to the Lord Jesus Christ and receive him and his grace, and then become part of his family, the community of faith together. Usually that requires some form of formation, like learning about the faith, what you're getting into, what we believe, it's a way of life. Christianity isn't just about a set of beliefs. It's about a way of inhabiting the world, and having those beliefs shape who we are and the way that we interact with each other. That's really what faith is. It's putting belief into action. It's not just intellectual assent to something.
And that's important, because a lot of people claim to be a Christian, but it's more than just having a title. It's actually putting it into action.
No, absolutely.
Making a difference.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. It's more than just a title, or, saying you've got this name, or even saying that I believe something. Like, what good is that belief if you're not then living like you believe it, right?
Right.
And that's really what Christianity is meant to be. It's meant to be something that we live out together, that changes us, and in changing us then is able to change the people around us in the world too. So that's a whole process that as Anglicans, we don't really believe necessarily in a step-by-step, kind of like 1, 2, 3, and you're done. It's a lifelong process of transformation and change in us, but it starts there at baptism. And then there are other steps along the way in your journey to take that sort of deepen the faith and deepen your understanding.
And so what would one expect if you come to the church come to Mass? What would one expect when they come into here? Like, are there strict rules on what you do? Is it, are each one of the Masses different? What are the different elements with the different
those are
ones?
good questions. So what you can expect when you come is hopefully to be loved, right? You're going to be greeted warmly, and you're going to find a community of people here who love the Lord and love each other. And what we do then on a Sunday morning is that we express that love for the Lord and one another in our corporate worship together. And as Anglicans, we do that liturgically, which liturgy is a fancy way of saying the work of the people. So it's this thing that we do together.
Yeah.
It's not just the priest or the worship team or the band up front doing something, though they have a role, everybody's got a role, but rather it's the people of God coming together and worshiping him together. So there are calls and responses, right? The priest gives an opening acclamation and the people respond back to the opening acclamation to the priest. And we pray prayers together and we offer our amens together and we sing together and we do all these things sort of intentionally together because we're coming together as the people of God. So it's Anglican worship is an active worship. It's not just passive. It's like in some traditions, you've got the worship team that's up front and they do it and maybe you sing along or you don't, but the chief work is being done by the group up front. And then you have somebody come out and they give a message and those things are all good. But we think that there are deeper ways to do that. And so it's more active. The people in the pew have parts that they say and participate in, which makes it actually easier for kids too. It's a great benefit of it is that it works for kids. It's a way that it teaches us the faith too, because we're praying these prayers together. But also it makes sure that we're passing the faith on well. Because we're doing it intentionally, right? These are the prayers that we've said for 2,000 years. Some of them inherited from Jesus himself. Some of them inherited from the very first saints and church at the very beginning. And these things have been then guarded by the bishops and handed down to us through the years. And we've had opportunity to think about them and refine them and make sure that if some innovation creeps in, because we're being intentional about it, we can get rid of it and stick to the faith as it's once been handed down, and all that because it's intentional. But then the benefit is that the people in the pew, they get to learn the faith through that, and they learn the prayers. Like I have 6 kids, and they range from 12 to 18, or excuse me, to 13 months. And they pick up on pieces of it because they're saying it with us, right? So even if I'm not doing the best job at home teaching my kids, which hopefully I am, but even if I'm not, just being involved in the church service, they're picking up what we believe and how to pray and songs and different parts like that, just sort of through participating in the whole body. Doing these things together.
I like that too. And it's more of a family feel. It's like you said, it's community, right? It's not everybody just watching one individual person. It's everybody getting involved. So,
well, and to that, if I might add, we have a family meal together, right? So we say all these prayers, we read the scriptures, and I think, people who come from other traditions might be surprised by how much of the Bible we have. The prayers, a lot of them come out of the Bible. Then we have 3 Bible readings, an Old Testament, a New Testament, and a gospel reading. There's a short sermon usually, though some people complain that the preacher here can be a little bit long. But I assure you, there are longer preachers. You come to the 8. I give like a 5-minute to that. Anyway.
No, it's a perfect time.
And then, but the Anglican worship culminates in the Lord's Supper and in the family meal together, where we all come together. We offer our prayers of thanksgiving and we offer our offerings to the Lord. And then we receive him back in the bread and the wine, which has become for us the body and blood. And in that, there's one bread, one loaf, and we all receive of the same bread and the same Jesus. And in that, then we're made together the body of Christ as we receive his body. So we're knit together in that moment. It's deeper than the family meals that we have on Thanksgiving, but we all know that when we share a meal together, there's something special about that, right? Like the human creature, that's what we do. If we want to get together with somebody that we really love, or a friend that we haven't seen, what do? We want to share a meal together. Yeah. We want to break bread together. It's how we honor people. It's how we commune together. It's how we relate and love one another. And so we do that every Sunday when we gather together, and sometimes during the week too. Always during the week, but it's a way for us to come together as the family of Christ, to receive Christ, to be made deeper spiritually through the grace that we receive in that meal. That's
great. And so what is Anglican religion?
Yeah, now let's get to that. So it's good. First and foremost, the Anglican is a Christian, right? We've received Christ, we've been baptized in Christ, we've been made part of his body. And in being made part of his body, we're made part of the one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church. And there's a lot in that to unpack. But it's basically to say that there's one church that's universal, right? Catholic means universal. It's that faith that we've received from Jesus to the apostles, and then has been given to us through the centuries by the apostles and their heirs, the bishops, priests, and deacons from one generation to the next, handing this down. It's holy because it's Christ's, and it's set apart by him for this purpose. And so Anglicanism belongs to the one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church, and it does so as it's been raised up and formed in the British Isles, right? We talked about Anglicanism, that connection there. So it's the expression or the branch of the one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church that was planted in England in the first century, and then was influenced by Celtic culture, by British culture, a little bit by Roman culture, because the Romans were there, and so you have this sort of cross-pollination that happens in all of that. And the church's traditions are formed there in England in ways that are distinct from the way that the church was growing in Europe and in the East. And so there's affinity between these three branches, the English, the Latin, and the Greek forms of the church. But there's distinctives between each of them. And the English distinction has always been different. Our liturgies are similar but different. The way that our understanding of the church, our who God is and how we relate to him, has been a little bit different there. The ways that we practice things have been influenced by that culture in England at that time. So another way of saying it is kind of Anglicanism is the one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church for the English-speaking world. In fact, if you speak English, you have inherited much from the Anglican Church, because the three greatest influences on modern English were the Anglican Prayer Book, the authorized version of the Bible, what we call the King James Bible, which was written for the Anglican Church, and Shakespeare. These three things are the biggest influence on modern language. So no matter what you're speaking or what you're doing, if you're speaking English, you've received from the patrimony of the Anglican Church. So you're welcome. But it does show the relationship then between the English-speaking world and Anglicanism. And of course now Anglicanism spread beyond the English-speaking world. We've got churches in the global South. We probably have more African Anglicans than anything else. We have Anglicans down in South America and across the globe. We're kind of actually now ironically small in the English speaking world, and it's spread far beyond that. In fact, I mean, there are English speakers who are not Anglican anymore, right? And so all that's kind of played out in history. So, there's
smaller here because there's more options, or why is it that?
Yeah, that's a good question here. And
what has changed to make it that way here in America, or?
Well, some of that has to do with the founding of America, how we were founded, in the 13 colonies. When the Puritans come over, they're expelled from England because they killed the king. It's not just so much that they were being oppressed religiously, which is what we like to tell ourselves, but it's because they killed the king. And that was sort of a revolution. And so you can imagine that, you killed the king, get out. And so, the Puritans come over and they come here, but also others came too. Yeah, the Anglicans were really strong in Virginia and other parts of the 13 colonies, but predominantly you had non-conformists, is what we call, like the Puritans and others from England at the time. It was mostly them, and so Anglicanism, though it's been here from the beginning, it was always sort of the minority report, so to speak. And then, over the years, you've got the Baptists who kind of grow, which is sort of, in a lot of ways, native to America. It's kind of different here than in other places. We can get into that at a different time. But then, the Roman Catholicism comes over and that kind of grows. Then you've got the Lutherans and the Presbyterians and all these different flavors that sort of grow up at the same time. And Anglicanism, was one of the mainline Protestant churches for a long time, was considered part of that. But it kind of went astray, and it's dying, it's bleeding, just like all the mainline churches are dying right now. But we've had an outsized influence. I mean, like the vast majority of American presidents were Episcopalian, which is Anglican.
Right.
It's the, we can get in that to another time too. That's complicated in and of itself. But there's just been a long, Anglicans have kind of always had sort of an outsized influence in America, even though we've not really had the numbers that other denominations have had. We've had a big influence.
We're like RC Cola. We're not the cola or the Pepsi out front.
I don't know if I want to say it. We're better than RC Cola. Okay. We're more like Dr. Pepper, I think.
Or Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have to think about that analogy a little bit more. I'm not sure.
We could take that out. No Dr. Pepper.
No, I like Dr. Pepper.
Okay.
We're in Texas. Dr. Pepper is good.
And so what do we do to change that? What do you think would attract younger people to come to our religion?
That's a great question. Yeah. What would attract people? Anglicanism, because we trace our roots back to the first century, and we're doing a lot of the same things that we've been doing through the centuries. One of the great benefits of our tradition is the rootedness of it. We are who we are, and we have the means to self-correct. The Anglican tradition has existed in England going all the way back to the first century, and there's a lot of continuity that's gone on in that, but there have also been times of innovation where we've kind of gone astray, just like in every tradition that's happened. And we've had the means and resources to go back and say, you know what, that's an innovation. Let's go back to what we believed before and sort of self-correct. And in that way, Anglicans are both like Catholic and Reformed. We want both the good parts of the ancient tradition as well as like the influence of some of the parts of the Reformation, and emphasis on the scriptures and getting rid of some of the innovation that came in. But we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater either. We want to hold on to what the church has always believed everywhere and at all times, because it's proven itself to be trustworthy and it's proven itself to stand the test of time. And so we want to hold on to those things. And so that's why we also refer to ourselves as Catholic, because we believe those things once held, always, everywhere, by everyone. And so I think that's a real gift. If, we have a crisis of meaning and purpose, we have a crisis of like, how do we trust? Well, we would say in the Anglican Church, like this is a place where you should be able to come and trust the faith because we have these symbols of unity. We have the creeds, we have the bishops, we have the sacraments, we have all these things that we've been doing since the very beginning, we're still doing. And we look to the early church, we point to these things. We're not trying to culturally appropriate new things. We're trying to be who the church has always been.
Yeah.
And so we're not, hopefully, in holding on to those things, we're not being blown about by the waves and the winds of the current age, the spirit of the age, the zeitgeist, but rather we're rooted and founded. And that's important in an age that's been called liquid. Like every time we turn around, there's some new revolution, some new technology, some new belief. Things that we believed today, 5 minutes ago, were outlandish. Like nobody would believe that 5 minutes ago, but it's just things change so fast. So to have a place that's rooted in doing the things that we're doing. And then I would point to the beauty of that. Our worship is so beautiful. And encountering beauty, you also encounter truth and goodness. And we have, I think, because of the patrimony that we have in England and the emphasis that we've always put on liturgy and the beauty, we have beautiful music. We have a beautiful liturgy that expresses the faith in beautiful ways, and we have beautiful vestments and beautiful spaces, and it's just a great way to connect with the real, to disconnect from, a digital age, and there's rest here, there's depth here, there's
peace.
There's peace. Yeah, you guys know that. You've experienced that, I think.
Yeah. No, I truly, from the time we walked in here, we've always felt at home, and everybody is so kind, and we really, really found our place here because we had gone to several different churches, right? And some of them we call nightclub churches, but this was definitely our home, and we like the structure and the tradition, and the consistency and the stability, and that has always been good for us. So
you know what you're going to get one week to the next.
That is true,
right?
That is true.
And I think there's,
and even in the choices of the masses, right? This one you're going to get this one you're going to get that one. The different options for the traditional, or do you want music? Do you stuff like that? So it's always consistent. Last question.
Shoot.
So it's not really a question. What would be something you would say today with everything going on? What would be some words of wisdom today?
Yeah, what would some words of wisdom be today? Well, I want to go back to that idea of rootedness. Mm-hmm. The world is, there's so much crazy going on right now. There's wars, and there's rumors of wars, and the economy's up, and there's just so much distraction. Our devices are going off like crazy. There's crazy innovation happening around AI, and it's just like it's hard to find a place to stand.
Yeah.
Right. And I think the beauty of the Anglican tradition is that there's a solid place to stand. And we all need that. We need that place to stand. We need that place to connect to reality, right? The saying goes, go touch some grass. And true, do that. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
But I think more importantly is to come touch reality in Jesus Christ. Come find the rock that we can stand on together. And Jesus is that rock. He's that place where we can stand. Think of the parable of the sand and the truth of Jesus being the rock to build your house upon. So if you're finding it hard to catch your breath, if you're finding it hard to find a place to stand, if you just feel like you're caught up in the whirlwind of it all, there's a lot of anxiety with all that, come find rest here. This is a place to find rest, like you said. A place to find peace and calm, a good place to be known and to know, to love and be loved. And to find peace and rest in the beauty of God's holiness here in this place.
But and a lot of things too is when you come to church, you got to put in the work.
Yeah.
Right. You've got to, like you said, it's not just showing up. It's actually trying to live that life and furthering it and getting more people involved and bringing more people to God. And so we are still looking for a name. And so how do you want them to get us that name?
Yeah, you can put it in the comments, I guess.
Okay.
And everybody play nice in the comments. We don't need there's enough feistiness in the world. We don't want any more feistiness in the comments. We're not going to be in the comments, but you can reach out to us directly. I'd love to chat. You can email me, call me.
And even if you're not a member of St. Peter, St. Paul, if you have a question,
absolutely.
Get in the comments what you would like to learn more about, because it might be a piece that's missing for you to come and get engaged with this church. So
yeah, wherever you are in your journey, and whether you darken our doors or not, we want to be a help and a resource to everybody. So get in the comments, let us know. And if you're from Peter and Paul and there's something you want us to talk about too, put that in the comments. We have some ideas about what we want to talk about, but we also want to talk about what you want to talk about.
And things that matter. Are there any events coming up?
Church on Sunday.
Is there anything else? Or are we having any drives or anything like that? Or is that?
No, we did Lent, and right now we're catching our breath after Lent and Easter, and
just putting it out there. We have something coming up in October, right? Isn't it like
November actually this year?
Is it a chili cook-off?
Chili cook-off.
That you seem to do really well at for some reason?
Yeah, I did not win this year. Thank you very much. So one of our big outreach events is our chili cook-off, which will be on November 7th this year. And we raise funds to support Rescue Hill, which works with the Arlington Police Department and other police departments in the area, specifically to offer midterm housing for women coming out of human trafficking situations. Help them get back up on their feet, to heal emotionally and spiritually, so they can make better long-term decisions, right? Often they end up in a 72-hour house and you're just in too much trauma to be able to make that kind of decision. So they try to give them at least 90 days then to be able to get healed up and then make longer term decisions. So all the proceeds go to support them. It's a way for us to work to the common good and to get to know you guys as you come and join us for that. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We had like horses and all kinds of touch a truck stuff and lots of good chili.
Lots of good chili. There was like one favorite one.
Wasn't mine this year. Mine was good, but it wasn't the one that won.
So make sure you keep joining us. Get in those comments. Help us with the name. Let us know what you want to hear about. Anything else you want to say?
God bless you all.
That's it.